first we have Lynda. Bulla.
That's right.
Bulla. Think about a bull, tough as a bull, Bulla. Lynda, you do awesome things. Not only are you a real estate broker, you are a children's author.
That's correct.
And this is awesome because I have a baby that's 6 months, so obviously he can't read yet. My 7-year-old loves to read. So please tell us about your books and what age ranges read them.
My books kind of range from probably age 3 up to probably 7, 8. When they get much older than 8, they start getting an attitude about chapter books, and you hand them a picture book, and they go, "Oh, I read chapter books," which is wonderful.
That's my 7-year-old right now.
But they still love to be read too.
Yes,
and when I developed these books, I had in mind that they were going to be read to children by adults. I call them books with character, because they all have a special message or a moral to them that needs to be discussed.
Absolutely.
And when you're just reading it by yourself, there's no dialogue. And so I like to think that my books are actually being read to children, with children, by adults, and dialogue about the message. If you can't start learning to talk to your children, and there's a lot of parents out there, for some reason, they don't seem to be able to.
No.
And so if you can't learn to talk to your children when they're 7, you're not going to stand a chance at 17.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
no, I agree with you. It's funny because you see that commercial. Have you seen the commercial now?
With the baby and
yes, and they show
wonderful.
the mom texting and not talking to the baby.
Right.
And then they show a mom like I talk to my baby about, I know this sounds really weird, but since I saw that commercial, I'm like, I'm not going to be sitting there texting on my phone, which I usually do. I'm like, hey, okay, today I'm going to go to work. I just start talking to him. And I think that's good. And I read to my 7-year-old son. So my baby, we still have him in a little bassinet for now. He's going to be hitting the crib in a month or so. But I'll read to my son, and I know the baby's listening, and I'll read to him too, which is pretty cool. But there's morals. There's a message to every book.
Each book has a different message or moral to them. This one is written in rhyme. The Old Clock on the Wall is written in rhyme, and I wrote it for my oldest granddaughter, who was diagnosed at just as she was entering kindergarten as dyslexic.
So she read things
backwards. Was reading them backwards, and I picked her up from school one day and to bring her out to our house, and she took her reading book and threw it on the floor of the car and said, "I don't want to learn how to read. I just want to make up stories out of the pictures."
She was frustrated.
So I wrote her a poem about reading and about how you don't have to be best at something to still enjoy it. When you compare that to a professional baseball player, a really good batting average is 300.
Yes.
That means they're missing 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
And most people don't get that.
Right.
And so you don't have to hit the ball every time to still be a great player.
To be a great player. That makes sense.
And so
same thing as
once you learn the words, the books can take you all over outer space, everywhere. It's fantastic. And so it's all about a little girl. Her mentor is an old clock on the wall, and he says, "I didn't tell time the first time I tried."
Yeah.
And
saying
so
it's okay.
It's okay. You can make mistakes.
Trying.
Yeah,
you
keep
can
on
make
trying.
Mistakes. I love
it. Then eventually she has success in reading, and she loves it. And the same goes for my granddaughter. My granddaughter is a great reader now.
This is awesome.
So
I love this story. It goes on and on about I'm good at piano or swimming or playing baseball. Like you just said, you don't have to hit every ball. What are the other messages in your other books?
Well, the next one I wrote was KatyDid, and it originally started out as a book for women, a self-help book for women. And once I had the Old Clock on the Wall, I made it into a picture book for young girls, because I think it's important to start early.
Sure.
And KatyDid is about a cricket who doesn't think there's anything special about her. She's just a cricket. And she sees her world in kind of gray and black and white. Nothing exciting, nothing, there's no joy until she talks to her mentor and learns about WYSIWYG. And WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So if you're always looking at the negatives, you're never going to find your possibilities.
True.
And so when she finds that there is more to her. She says, but what if I'm afraid to go after what it can bring me? And so Miss Pooh gives her a confidence bug. And in the back of the book, everybody gets their little own confidence bug.
Oh, that is so cool. The confidence bug. Very
and
cool.
So she learns the more that there is, and it's all because of WYSIWYG.
I like this because a lot of the kids' books that I read to my son, just like, Willie's 7 now, just a couple years ago, were kind of like fun dogs. So, I mean, there were books that like were cute, but they didn't have a message. I love your books because they have a message and then you discuss it.
Right. And the next book we had that I did is called The Turk and Deuce. And
I was looking at that. I'm like, what is that?
What is that? The Turk and Deuce is about a barnyard full of chickens, turkeys, ducks, and geese, and nobody likes anybody very much because they all think they're better than everybody else in the barnyard.
See, this happens in the classroom.
That's right. It happens at work. I've advised companies
Sure.
to take this to their boardroom.
Yes, you can learn that.
And
you can
so
read it children's book at work.
When an egg appears and they have to come together to hatch the egg, and they wind up having to appreciate each other, what they're all bringing to the whole. But Sam, who's the bird that hatches from this egg, doesn't know what he is because he doesn't look like anybody else. So he decides he's a Turk and Deuce. And when he decides he's a Turk and Deuce, he sings a song, and the song is part of...
It's a CD
It's a CD in the back, and we have the words right there, and it's just fun song.
That is so cool.
And it's really neat, because if you're if your child's having trouble with bullying or not getting along or things like that, this would be the perfect book to pick up and read together. What you were saying about reading books to your child now, the problem is that traditional publishing is limiting picture books to 750 words. If I'm submitting a manuscript...
That's what you have to, it has to be 750 words or less.
And so they're actually, to
message
me,
across.
they're dumbing down.
They are.
And so when I did these, I am not traditionally published. I'm self-published.
Right.
And it's allowed me to bring the messages out there.
I was wondering why, because, okay, no wonder why those other picture books were kind of just fun, quick things, but they didn't have a lot of depth to it.
They're 5 minutes of reading.
These
are more like 15 to 20, and that's what you should be spending time with your child.
15 and 20, I agree, and then discuss what it's about.
Freedom Rings is about a dragon whose name is Freedom, and he lives in this wonderful town called Merca. And Merca is a very pleasant, prosperous place to be, but not everybody in town thinks Freedom's wonderful, because he's big and he's noisy and he smells and he burps when he eats. Oh, he's just, he's really hard to have around. And so they said, kind of go away, go off to your cave, and we'll call you if we need you. Well, some bad guys come to town and think, well, if we can kill Freedom, then we can have the town, because there's nobody to stop us.
Jeez.
And so the townspeople have to decide if Freedom is worth defending.
So what happens?
They all come together.
You have to read the book.
They all come together, and in the end, they're heroes. And he makes them a hero's badge out of his scales. He makes them a hero's badge, and everybody is wonderful.
So it sounds like at the end of all your books, you have not only do you have a message, you have a thing at the end, like a DVD or a map or what was it, the confidence ring and stuff like that.
Right.
You actually have something that you could have. We're running out of time, Lynda. So tell us. Do you do appearances? Where can we get your books? All that fun stuff.
You can get my books by contacting me, or you can go on my website. Appearances, I love to do appearances. I've gone to schools. I've gone to business organizations. I do speaking at monthly meetings for businesses.
Yep.
All kinds of different things. It's just really interesting what you can do with children's books, because they're nice, short messages. If you get the right one, it starts the dialogue. So
what is your email, your number? I mean, how can we get a hold of you?
My email is lgb007, just like the spy,
okay,
at ix.netcom.com. My
Okay.
website is KatyDidPublishing.com.
That's easier. KatyDidPublishing.com.
That's
okay.
correct.
And your do you have a number or just email you on KatyDid?
Just email me through. You can just go on the KatyDid website and you can email me, reach me through there.
I'm going to give your card to a couple of people. I know a really good daycare preschool place and my son's school would love to have you.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and of course, what's really timely now is the little drop of water.
Oh, because of the water shortage.
That's right. It's
Call Lynda Bulla.
It's
She's
the life
awesome.
cycle of water.
See? So get your books, A Little Drop of Water, and the other way to get your books is to email you too. They're
Me.
not sold in stores?
They're not sold in stores,
Wow.
only through me, and
Okay.
that is really nice because you could give your child a first edition author signed book if you come through me.
Well, I'm definitely going to get one of your books because my son's going to love them. I just know it. Margaret Gainer's coming up with Mending Fences with a little friend. Trixie or Dixie? Pixie. Oh my God. Pixie. Think of pixie dust with Peter Pan. And that's all coming up next. And don't forget Daddy Warbucks from Annie Jr. is going to be on the show as well with Mike Briggs and Athena on CentralValleyTalk.com.